Good everyone. I hope you guys have an amazing day. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to talk about net zero marketplace and to buy a carbon credit. I do appreciate the fact that I did mention about the carbon credit when I briefly touched about companies plan to achieve the net zero. So I'm going to expand on that a bit, right, in this episode, and then I'm going to show you how you can go and buy, uh, you know, your carbon credit from a the trusted marketplace, right? So the first thing first, right? Why do we even talk about the carbon credit, right? It's quite obvious, right? If you as a company serious about going net zero by X amount of time, or let's say by 2030 or by 2040, you need to make sure that amount of the carbon you emit, you put equal effort to nullify that emission rate. Um, I do understand that it sounds very simple, but it may not be possible for every industry, right? So what that means is that no matter how hard you try, you might be still contributing towards the greenhouse emission. So to nullify that, you can go and buy a carbon credit. Carbon credit, as I mentioned, that it could be investing in a deforestation project or investing in absorbing the methane from atmosphere, right? But that being said, right, you have to be careful from where you buy the carbon credit because it needs to be certified. It needs to be, maybe from an independent uh, carbon credit authority, or it could be from your government agencies, right? So that's very important, right? You can't just go and blindly buy a carbon credit from anyone, right? Because there are a lot of certification involved for a company to start a carbon credit. So these people, right, who actually get involved are called ecopreneur. I mean, I had a very good idea today, right, when I was reading about Salesforce Marketplace, right? Although, I started a it's like started a charity foundation, and charity foundations usually can't get involved in selling carbon credit because we are a charity, right? But that being said, my foundation can pretty much involve with the company to help create a carbon credit. So, that's something we can do. And I kind of, when I kind of thought about it, I said, oh, that sounds like a good idea. Like, a lot of plans I have for my foundation. I'm going to talk about this once I finish this, anyways. Um, so, uh, so continuing with this discussion, right? As you can see, we have the companies, can contribute to the CHD emission, right? Could be in the form of your value chain or uh, other scope 3 emission, right? Sometimes, right? You say, for instance, you must be using a eight-seater plane, but unfortunately, we don't have low carbon jet fuel, right? There might be we're not that advanced to have different technology based craft, right? Or anti-gravity craft is not involved any fuel at all. We don't. I mean, unfortunately, in the mainstream, we don't have. I'm not sure if military uses it, but I can't really say, right? So this is net zero. Uh, so you need to be contributing to reduce or to remove the CHG, right? That's one thing. Okay. If you are not sure where to buy your carbon credit, you can always use a Salesforce Net Zero Marketplace. It's a trusted marketplace. You don't have to be a Net Zero customer, though, right? To buy a Net Zero Marketplace, you just have to create your profile and portfolio, and then you can do whatever you wanted to do. It's free and open to all, like I said, and it's a trusted site, right? Because obviously Salesforce gives very high importance to the trust, which is very critical factor, in my opinion, for any non Salesforce customers, right? Okay, so let me show you. So you go to salesforce.com products net zero cloud marketplace, right? Explore the marketplace, And once you go to the marketplace, you see you have an option called Browse Project. So there are different projects, right? You might find some projects based in China, like for instance, excuse me, this is a project from China, uh, and it's like 28 USD for metric tons of carbon dioxide. Or you have advanced refrigeration system, afforestation of San Pedro, Blue Source. There are different stuff, right? Projects you can have a look at it. And reforestation is another project, right? So I was looking at some of the options, right? Let's say for a company to get involved in a carbon credit project, right? It's not pretty straightforward, right? You get involved in a reforestation project. For that, you need to get council approval, involve landowners and the local communities, because obviously planting trees is a great idea, but that does not mean that you can go to someone else's property and plant it, right? Or for that matter, you can't plant without permission in a random places, right? So that's something you need to factor that, and you have to look for the sustainability as well. If you are someone who wanted to start that project, another one you can do is the renewable energy, like investing in the solar, wind. Um, what's the other one? Water, right? In the city where I live, right, we got the windmills. Just I can look outside my window near the mountains. I can see the windmills. It's pretty beautiful looking. But that so there's no point in investing or on another windmill. Then we have electricity solar farm. That could be another opportunity, to invest in renewable source of energy. And another one is uh, the water hydro, right? But we have a river, right, in Manawatu River. But for the hydro project, you need a more well, I mean, you can do hydro project, but like I said, again, in the council project, council approval, a lot of funding, right? Another one is that extraction of methane. Again, you need a technology to do that, right? So if you're really interested to start a company to sell carbon credit, it's a great opportunity, but you need to work on the certification program, because obviously your carbon credit project needs to be certified. Otherwise, you can't sell it, right? And business can't really buy it. And then selling in a marketplace is the easiest one, right? That's Salesforce have that option, or you can use an other platform as well. So that's the easiest, the least of the worry. But now you need to have a business plan in place. But like I said, this is a great project. I mean, if you guys wanted to involve in your respective countries, you can. So that comes to my foundation, right? I started my foundation as a non-profit in New Zealand. It's a Protect Planet Foundation. So I'm the founder. So I have submitted the document to register as a charity. So hopefully that will be done. So the whole idea of this foundation is to raise money to create social awareness. So and we want this foundation to be my main aim is just not to, like a usual foundation where you go and plant trees. That's a great cause, but that's not the whole purpose of this foundation, though. Is to write books, right, about, because I wanted to use digital technology to create social awareness, right? Because I'm not very a great handyman to go and plant trees and kind of stuff, right? I really acknowledge that I'm not really great in such kind of things. I mean, I plant a few trees in my garden, but like grape and feijoa, that's kind of things. But to plant like 1,000 trees in a day, but I'm I've never done that, so I'm not really looking forward for that. That's not my foundation is about. My foundation is about it's a digital technology to help combat climate change. What that means is that we are planning to release books, right? I'm working on first book on climate change. Then next year I plan to write a book on carbon tax. Then I plan to write a few more books, right, as the time goes, and create some YouTube videos about social awareness of the climate change. And then also work on artificial intelligence project, because my biggest dream in life to create an AI sentient. right? I know that you might say, "Ah, it's not possible." I don't believe in because I'm a Jew. I don't believe in the word impossible, right? My descendants have gone through the things which most of the people haven't. So impossibility is the word does not exist in our dictionary. So we don't whatever impossible for others. That's where the real work starts for our people. So sentient AI is something I wanted to. I mean, I'm not saying I wanted to build alone. You can't build this technology alone. You need expertise of neuroscientists, um, someone who understands psychologist because you need to understand the behavior, um, deep learning engineers. So I hope that my foundation will really get involved in this. And one of the things I do hope that people come and work for my foundation in New Zealand, and like scientists and researchers, and I will really encourage the patents to be filed. That's all something we have no problem with that because, like most of the firms, right, they will not let you file the patent. They will say, "Hey, it's a part of the company," right? With us, no problem. You're most welcome to file a patent, right? We do want scientists to work for us because it's a technology based foundation. So that's the way I wanted to promote. So I got a lot of plans on that area. I got inspired from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Those guys do amazing work, right? So from there, the idea came from, and I said, okay. I was talking to one of my mates. I said to him, I mean, I wanted to do something with New Zealand, right? I wanted to do in the city I live in. I start from here, and then we'll see, right? Then we can think about the rest of the world. So yeah, that's the plan, and yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I am talking about net zero because I'm very climate change person, and I believe in facts, right? I mean, I do understand that there are a lot of theories out there. There are a lot of climate change deniers out there. I'm not here to judge anyone, right? Everyone has their own opinion on a certain topic, and after all, we live in I mean, at least I live in a democratic society, so both sides of the argument needs to be equally uh, promoted, right? So that we can have a healthy conversation. That being said, right, I am a kind of person who believe in facts, statistic data, and scientific data, right? I mean, I don't believe in false claims. If someone wants to bring a counter argument, I need to see the data to back that up, right? Without that, you can make up anything you want, right? Climate change has a lot of scientific data, right? Scientists have been working on for like decades, so I can show you lots of data to support my claim, at least on climate change. If you think there's it's not true, I mean, I'm happy to see, the data to back that up. So, let's the data do the talking, right? So, so yeah, that's something I wanted to cover. I think um, you might have few things around around net zero. Then once we're done, so I hope you enjoy this series so far. I do appreciate the fact that at times things might have got boring a bit. Yeah, I do agree that you don't have to deny it because I do understand that some of the topics can be, shit boring. I accept that. I acknowledge that. Theory can be really boring at times. I felt the same at times. Some of the topics in the I was like, it's really pretty boring, but that's what it is, right? You need to understand the concept. So if you're a business owner, right, listening to the series, I hope now you might have got some confidence to go and, build dashboard or, to at least to know how to where to add the data, right, for your vehicle emission or your stationary asset, right, and how to create a carbon record, carbon footprint, that kind of stuff, right? And so, yeah, that's being said, I hope you guys have an amazing Monday. Adios.